Hi, folks, and welcome to another Rio and Raw conversation. This time about travel, or maybe travel is the starting point because we all know how travel is. Travel is a kind of a peculiar creature. We never know what is there, so we will take it as the begin, and we'll take it from there. And for that purpose, I have with me Luke, who is the founder of Worldwide Travel Podcast, who was kind enough to have me maybe 2 months ago, if I remember well, or 3 months ago. Time passed; it's mad. So we're going to hear discuss not only travel but also content creation and all the things in between. So if that's something that you are into, stay with us for the next hour or 90 minutes. If you have any comments, the chat box is open. We want to make sure that this stuff is interactive. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'll be very thankful if you could do so by pressing that button below. If you enjoy what we do here, the best way to make it public is just to award us a thumbs up. So, Luke, you are very welcome to my podcast.
Thank you, Vitor. Good to be here. As you said, you was on our podcast not long back, and now I'm here on your podcast.
Yeah, time to switch roles. Just before we start talking, I just want to announce that we have a sponsor for this episode. So that's a travel organization called Travel Device. They are in the description. So if you guys are into tour and you don't know exactly how to put it all together, I suggest to contact the experts. The contact details is on the video description. So just visit the page and see if that's something that you want to partner with. They are mostly specialized in Ireland, Italy, and Israel, but the scope is wide. The team is based in those 3 countries, but they're all individuals who have been all over the place, so they are prepared to help you to make your dream come true in every single corner of the globe. So have a look below. I just put it here in the screen as a reminder. And have fun. Talking of the travel, let's start with your show as a as the beginning of this conversation. How did this thing get together, and what was the main idea behind?
So I'm a keen traveller, and some of my family are not like such adventurous when it comes to travelling. They just visit Spain and it's basically the same places all the time. And I wanted to try to open up their imagination about travel, and as well our viewers, to give them more information so they know about different parts of the world, and to try to remove some barriers as well, because a lot of people tell me like, I'm not going on holiday to this place because it's too expensive, or I'm not going there because it's too far, or I'm not going there because it's dangerous. I'm trying to remove some barriers around this.
And for that, so you came up with a team. I think you are 5. Yes. They are based in different parts of the world. I mean, one is your wife, so she's just next to you. So how did you come up with this team?
So I just put, when I started the idea, I just put some adverts out on social media for people to join my team. And as a few people got back to me that they wanted to join. And it just happened, it wasn't the plan, but it just happened to be that the whole team is based all around the world. So we have Alexandra, who will be hopefully coming on your show soon. She's from Romania. We have Elsa, who's from Lebanon but now lives in Dubai. We have Dave, who's from America, and my wife is from Brazil, and myself. So we're just all around the world, and it's just, I find our team is unique. I don't see other podcast teams like so widespread around the world.
Yeah, 100%. That was my impression when I was in your show. I think I met at least 4 of you, and each of you guys had like a different perspective, a different understanding of travel, personal experience, all that. So I think it's very rich, let's say, from the human point of view. So you guys really make really create an identity when it comes to bringing something new to the stage. So I encourage people to check it out. You are on YouTube and any other platform?
Our show is on YouTube, but we have we're on all the social medias, just basically putting out photos like of different parts of the world, some memes and stuff like that. But our show, yeah, is on YouTube.
Yeah, so have a look. Worldwide Travel Podcast. It's also in the video description. I'm curious, like, how do you select the other folks? Was there any criteria, any special requirements, or was it all about clicking?
Our guest, you mean?
No, I mean the team.
The theme. I don't quite understand the question.
Let's say when you put the advertisement out there that you wanted to create a team. Of course, people send you a message. They say they'll be interested, and I'm sure that you had to have a chat before making sure they were the right fit. So, what were, let's say, the profile that you were looking for?
Just people. I was looking for someone who is experienced in podcasting, which Dave is a podcaster, he has his own podcast. I just looked for people who had interesting stories, basically, and who travelled to a few places, so they had different perspectives. Elsa travels in a different way. She travels for business, so that's another different perspective that she brings. So yeah.
Yeah, it's good to have people who travel for different motives, and they approach situations from different perspectives. Because I think travel, as I said in the beginning, it's very wide. It's not just pack and go. A lot can happen depending on our behavior or our attitude, how we put ourselves out there. Like, let's say you bring 5 people to a destination, and they all will come up with a different perception. And it's not just their eyes, is the way they interact with the locals. Like, as a matter of fact, recently I was in Sao Tome. I think we even exchanged a couple of messages about it. And one of the things I wanted to do is always look at the guides in the eye, that I could talk to them like they were mates and not just guides and they would see me as a client. I wanted to get to know as they are, that I could understand how life is there, not just showing me that landscape and that monument. So I think I access a couple of information just because I look at them in the way I look at, let's say, people in this podcast.
Yeah. So you're talking about walking tours now. When you went in Sao Tome, so you did a walking tour. Because wherever I go, I like to do a walking tour, because then you get to know the perspective of that place from the person who knows it best, who lives there or was born there. And I like to experience history, so they bring history from the walking tour. And plus you're getting speaking to other people on the tour, like from different parts of the world, so you understand their different perspective as well.
Yeah. 100%. So going back to your background, so you mentioned that your parents were just doing the regular trip to Spain. So nothing unusual. Don't take offense, but in England or here in Ireland, it's the exact same. So, or Portugal, they go to Algarve. It's quite common. And as you said, it's not that they only go to Spain; they go to the same places in Spain.
Yeah.
Because Spain, it's huge. So there are a lot that you can do in Spain. But it's Benidorm and Benidorm again, or Algarve and Algarve again. And don't get me wrong, there are good things to be done in both places. But if you are there every summer, I think at some point there's not much to do. So do you remember the first day that you thought, I want to do something different and I need to come up with another perspective, with another way to approach life? Do you remember like that awakening moment, or was it a process?
Well, actually, the awakening came when I met my wife, because when I was younger, I noticed my family was just going to Spain. My dad's been to Benidorm like 5, 6 times. And as you said, it can get boring when you just go to the same place every time. And I've always wanted to travel, but there was a barrier. I had my own self-imposed barrier, because I was such a football fan that I had blinkers. I was just going to football all the time, and I wasn't planning anything else, just football, and then next year football again. And I came to realise when I met my wife that I'm getting a bit older, and it's time to do something different than just going to football all the time. So I met her like almost 4 years ago, and since then we've been to 12 countries in less than 4 years. So I'm really starting to explore a bit more now. And it's helpful when you meet your wife and then she has the same perspective as you, that she wants to travel. So that's very helpful.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's what you want from a couple, that will open doors. Although I don't want to be critical of other people's lives, but in many cases, people people kind of step back and stay at home. But as I said, it all depends on the horizons of each of the individuals. If both are into exploring and discover new places, then at least they get the encouragement of the partner, because there will be a time that, okay, I'm not thinking about going anywhere, and she is, or the other way around. So I think that's the best benefits of couple. So you mentioned that she's from Brazil. Have you been to Brazil since
We
then?
were in Brazil this year in January. Yeah.
How
Oh,
was it?
it was my dream to be in Brazil, my whole life to be in Brazil. Unfortunately, it wasn't in Rio, but hopefully next year we've been invited again for next year to go to visit a family again. Hopefully we'll be in Rio this time for a few days, because when I was young, this was number one on my bucket list to be in Rio. So
And why
hopefully
was that? What was it that in Rio that was so fascinating for you?
it's just
Football.
when you think of sun, when you think of tropical sunshine, relaxing, you think of for me anyway. I think of Brazil first.
Hmm.
The Copacabana, the Christ.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. I thought it when I was young. I thought it was unachievable to be in Brazil.
Well, things were a bit different. I think we are more or less our same age, and travel was not as accessible as it is now.
Yeah,
They say, I don't know if I know you are learning Portuguese, but there's a funny slang in Brazil that they say when something is very elitistic, they say it's high heels in their own language, and if something is for for the average Joe, they say is flip flops. So tell her that. Yeah.
I'll ask my
So
wife
it's
about
yeah, tell her that. Tell her that. She'll be impressed. Yeah. So yeah, so I tend to say to the Brazilians that travel used to be a high heels kind of thing, and now it's flip flops. And I'm not complaining about, but it's just a nice image. You know?
that. Yeah,
What do you think about? By the way, I had this question for later, but now that we are talking about low cost, what do you think about the whole low cost model? Because now everyone can be everywhere, and
I think
there are downsides, but there are also positive aspects. So, what's your overall assessment of the low cost day and age?
I don't see any downside. I think, as you said, it makes the world more accessible. Then there's no barriers like Spain. And as I said to my family, if you just go to Spain because it's sunny, because it's blah, it has beaches. We have beaches in Italy, in Turkey, in Greece, and it's so accessible. It's so cheap. It's not 7, 8 hours on a plane either.
Yeah, I mean that's one angle, but I would argue that when everyone can go everywhere, that can put some identity at stake, because that's at some point things are not what they are because the whole road is there, if you know what I mean. Let's say you go to, I don't have been to Barcelona, but like the city center of Barcelona is completely taken. So
You mean over tourism?
that's that. Yes. So that's
Yeah.
the issue.
It can be an issue, yeah. We were in Rome 2 years ago, and everywhere you walked, it was just full of people. Yeah. But that's why now, because of over tourism, a lot of places are becoming like, people are trying to find a new place to visit. Like Albania is getting more popular, and places like this. So then other places are getting more recognised, and hopefully then this is why as well. Some countries have a tourist tax, like in Italy has a tourist tax.
Yeah.
Because it's over tourism.
Yeah, that's something that they're trying to put in place. Just I myself, as a libertarian, I'm not a big fan of taxes. So every time I see the word tax, I want to vomit. I don't, because the issue is that you pay that tax. I understand, to filter tourists. I understand, to try to make the place authentic. I understand that, but then where is that money going? Usually to the wrong pockets. That's my problem.
Not really clear, yeah, about this.
Yeah, it's a good principle. A good principle. We want to make sure the place is authentic, but there is someone making the money, and it's not us.
Because when we were in Italy, the tourist tax was going to the hotel, so they're probably keeping for their own profits. Then the hotel, it's not going back into tourism. It's not going to maintaining monuments or buildings. It's just going to the hotel. Yeah, as you said.
Yeah, and then the hotel owner will go to the Maldives, next year or something. Yeah, that's what I can imagine. Yeah. So you were in 12 countries in the last 4 years or 3 years, something like that.
Just less than 4 years. Yeah.
What was your favorite, if you can name one?
Well, I'll take two then.
Fine.
Brazil, of course, because you know my history about Brazil, as I've mentioned, and Italy as well. Italy's fantastic. The food's amazing. The weather's amazing. I'm into history, so the history's amazing as well. There's nothing bad about Italy. I love Italy.
Any specific part of Italy that would be your fetish?
Well, we were in Rome and Naples, and Rome was, of course, great, but I felt like Naples was better. The food,
Wow.
I've never eaten better food in my life than Naples. And the history as well was incredible in Naples. And we were walking in the Spanish Quarter in Naples, and it's quite characterful, let's say. It's like affordable housing there, a lot of decoration, like graffiti, but decoration. So yeah, it's kind of like that grungy area, but not unsafe at the same time.
Yeah, because it has the reputation of being dodgy.
Yes.
And is it correct, or it's just something that we see on social media?
I think it can be, but if you're acting like if you're acting like respectfully and stuff like that, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's what we were talking at the beginning. Your attitude to have a huge impact on how people approach you or react to your actions and words. And I think there are some people who sometimes don't respect the place where they are, or they expect to see a replication of their own surroundings. Of course, they're going to be disappointed and complain. There are, we all know there are some cultures that are more into that behavior than others, and others are more acceptive. So one thing that you once said on your podcast was about your own people. So you were very much critique of the English way of travel. So you were not afraid to call out the British travel stereotype. Can you elaborate that?
So whenever I see on Facebook, like someone is on holiday, and I'm interested. I click on their profile. Oh, I wonder where they're on holiday. and it's always Spain. Like, I'm not saying all English people are like this, but the majority of my Facebook, when I see someone on holiday, it's always Spain. My family's the same. So my dad's been in Benidorm a few times, and my brother's younger than me, and I tried to talk with them about travel as much as possible. I created my podcast to help to them to broaden their horizons, and my brother's just seeming to follow the same path, like Spain all the time. But this year he was in Turkey as well. But hopefully it's the start of him trying to broaden horizons.
Yeah. I think that's the best when you are able to persuade people to pursue other paths. It feels good. It feels good. Of course, you are not exactly manipulating. You are just trying to show up that life is not what they have been doing so far, and there are other avenues to explore. And especially when folks are younger, there is more room to tell them try something different, because we expect that younger people are more open than, let's say, our parents, who have the strength of habit to go back to where they feel comfortable. So you think people go back to the same places just because, yeah, they feel comfortable?
Yeah, I think that's the reason they feel comfortable, and like they don't want to go to a place and don't like it, because they know the place they're going at the moment, they like it. So if they try to broaden the horizons and they go to a place and they think, oh, I don't really like it, and then they feel like it's a waste of time, like a waste of their holiday. But I don't agree, because I've been to places that I don't really. It's not my favourite, but I always think that you're always learning something, even if you're not having your best time.
Yeah. Do you want to illustrate that with a couple of examples of places where you were and they were,
So I was in Amsterdam, and it's not my cup of tea to. It's like a party city, and it's
yeah,
not really my cup of tea. Also in Amsterdam, the food was awful. So I like to get involved with the people who live there. So we were speaking to a guy born in Amsterdam to try to ask him where's a good restaurant, or what Dutch food should I eat, and he told me, the Dutch food's not very good here. And he's from there, and he's like telling the truth. Like,
yeah,
if the locals are saying the food's bad, then what can I do?
yeah. The only thing you can do is be polite and agree with them, I'd say. Yeah. And with all the respect, I wouldn't go to the Netherlands for food. I think I can find another motivations to visit the Netherlands. That's not my favorite country by any stretch of imagination, but yeah, I wouldn't go there for food. I actually remember one time I went there with my parents for, I think it was a day trip, yeah, something like that. Some crazy journey. So we were there for a day, and we visited Amsterdam right before New Year, so it was my 29th or 30th of December. It was cold, but very cold. It was like, especially like for my parents, coming from Portugal, it was probably like -3, -5. And we're looking for a restaurant. And of course, coming from Portugal, um, prices were not very appealing. And eventually, I found that Argentinian place with a tourist lunch menu. So we went in, and we ordered, I think, some rice with beef, something like that, rice and beef, something. And there was a steak there, but the steak was maybe half of a normal hamburger. That was it. Like, you have to dig to find the freaking
Oh
steak.
my god!
So my father keeps talking about, every time we discuss travel, which is probably every time we meet, they mention, or my father mentioned those two things. One is that tiny steak. Another one, that it was freezing, and he said he could have died there, but no. Yeah, and he was also. I remember he was also very amused with the red light. It's normal, I mean,
Yeah,
in his
that was a
70s, actually. I think it's a good sign, no?
that was a very strange place. Yeah, we went there just to walk through and just to see what it's like, and yeah, it's a very strange place, the red light area in Amsterdam. It's not my cup of tea at all. I'm really not a nightclub or person or loud music, or it's not my cup of tea. I'm
I
too
would
old for
agree
that
with
now.
you. Yeah, no, I would agree. One of my friends even described the red light district as a how was it? A women butchery, and that's what it is. No, you walk around and they are there. I remember first time I was there by myself. There were Italians there for some reason, and I was no, I was alone. They thought I was Italian. And I was just saying 50 euro.
50 euro.
Yeah, 50 euro for God knows what. So it's better not to know. But there are a lot of Brits in Amsterdam as well. Huh?
Yeah. I think British people like parties and nightclubs, these kind of things. A lot of British people like this, but I'm too old for that now. I used
You
to
were
like
never
more.
into nightclubs, or is it
Yeah,
something
when I
that?
was young, yeah, but now I'm
Hmm.
too old for that.
Hmm.
I don't really like it.
Yeah, I mean things change, interests and all that. Any other place that you dislike other than Amsterdam?
It's the only one that comes to mind at the moment.
Hmm.
Just Amsterdam was a bit disappointing, but
Hmm.
everything else has been pretty good actually. We've had some nice travels. So Prague was a nice place. We really liked Prague.
Yeah,
Istanbul as well. We really liked Istanbul.
yeah. I'm a big fan of those two. Actually, for some time, Prague was my favorite city in Europe because it was like coming from Portugal was like being at the heart of Europe. So with some Eastern European flavor. So for me, it was a very good combination. And like yourself, I like history, and there is no shortage of that in Prague.
Yeah,
And it was cheap, good beer, beautiful women. So I was a
yeah,
happy man. I was single back then, so
yeah. The
that was good.
architecture is very nice. The architecture is very nice in Prague. The food's
Yeah.
good. The history. There's a lot of history, as you said. Yeah, it's beautiful there.
You were also recently in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
How did you find it?
Well, actually, really good. So my wife made a comment when we were there that she could live here in a second, but that's just only the second time she's ever said that when we've been on our travels, and the other time was in Italy. So that just shows how much. Sorry, that just shows how much she thought of Edinburgh. The castle is amazing. It's really beautiful.
Did you go in?
Yes,
Because I couldn't. There was a massive queue, and I didn't get tickets in advance. Is it worth going in?
it is. It takes more than an hour to walk around. A lot of interesting buildings inside the castle. And what there is a ceremonial. They fire a ceremonial gun at 1 o'clock every day. So we were there for that, and so we had a good position to see, and it's extremely loud. I jumped out of my skin when we watched that gun. It's really loud, but my
Hey,
wife loved Edinburgh.
yeah. How did you get there from Coventry? Because you live in Coventry, right?
I live in Milton Keynes now.
Keynes.
We flew from Luton. Just I think it was about an hour and a half flight, so it was very short. And
Yeah.
one thing about Edinburgh is the hotels are very expensive.
Yes.
So it was very difficult to find a good hotel in Edinburgh.
Yeah. That's an issue. I think it's everywhere now. Like I remember that I think I was even discussing with my girlfriend the other day that I think there was a time that you could find like cheap places, and now they're nearly gone. I think everywhere is more or less the same. That there was a wider discrepancy between, let's say, expensive places and cheap. Of course, there are still differences. Like, don't get me wrong. Let's say if you go to Hawaii, it's going to cost your kidneys, And if you go, let's say, to the middle of Thailand, it's going to cost you cents. But overall, let's say in Europe, like I remember being in Prague, like talking about Prague in 2018 2008 or 2009, it was very cheap. Like you could really feel the difference. Now it's more or less the prices as here, Dublin City Center, maybe 10-20% less, but
Yeah,
you are not going to sell it was so cheap there. Not anymore. Just
yeah. The price. That's what we learned as well in Prague. Yeah, it used to be really cheap, but now it's not so cheap as it used to be.
yeah. It's mad. I was even talking about just diverting a bit with a friend yesterday about how much the cost of living went up and the salaries didn't. It's mad.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
let's say this is the cost of living, this is the salary. No?
yeah,
Proportional. Cost of living, salary. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah,
I mean, there must be something that we are not aware of. It's mad. I mean, I don't start talking about economics here, but it's mad because it's impacting travel. It's
yeah.
impacting
It
travel.
is.
Like I remember flying with Ryanair, for instance, for 20 euros back and forth, and that was not unusual. And that would be the equivalent now, it's in current money, 40, 50 euros. You won't find tickets for 50 euros. Maybe, I don't know, Dublin, Liverpool, I can find it from time to time. But it's always a 3-digit.
But in fact, we're going to Switzerland in just I think 3 weeks, and we found prices. We're flying return for £70 to Switzerland.
That's good. EasyJet.
I can't remember which. I think it's Ryanair, but I can't remember which one.
Yeah. Where about in Switzerland are you going?
We're going Zurich. Day trip to Vaduz while we're there.
Yes.
And then Lucerne as well.
And what's the plan? Are you staying? Are you going by car from one place to another, or you're going to go on tours?
I think we're stopping 3 nights in Zurich, and then we're getting a train and stopping 3 nights in Lucerne.
Yeah. Like one thing that I would be fan of when it comes to Switzerland is the food. The food is quite decent, no? And the beer is okay, and the nature is stunning. So if you are into green fields, hills, lakes, that kind of stuff, it's amazing. No, that's really, really good, and it's safe. Let's say I was in Zurich actually in last November. I found it very, very, very safe, which is something that we don't experience anymore.
We actually love nature as well, and people have told me at work that Switzerland is one of the most beautiful countries in Europe. It's so hilly, mountainous, lot of lakes, forests. There's every kind of nature in Switzerland. And my wife's favourite ingredient in the world is cheese, so she'll be happy in Switzerland.
Yes, yeah, 100%, 100%. So she's like me. I could live out of cheese and maybe olives. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like cheese and olives. I'm happy man. Yeah. I always find weird when someone is not into cheese. Like, well, that's it. If there is cheese, I have dinner. If there is no cheese, then there is drama. That's simple. Have you tried, talking about cheese, have you tried cheese bread, the Brazilian cheese bread?
Oh, yeah,
Or
pound de queijo, yeah.
Pound cake. Have you tried that?
Yes. We had it yesterday, actually. Oh, Brazilian food is so good.
Oh, man, I must visit you just for that, just for the pound cake.
And churrasco as well was very good. The best barbecue in the world in Brazil.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's amazing.
Well,
I'm a big fan of this cheese bread. As a matter of fact, we were in Lisbon airport a few weeks back on the way back from São Tomé to Ireland, and we had a layover of 7-8 hours, and we got to the boarding gate. We went out for a couple of strolls in Lisbon, then we had to wait in the boarding gate for 2 hours, and I was exhausted, obviously, after flying from Africa, layover and all that, but I knew, because I know that the airport from inside out, that at the edge of the airport there is a kiosk with cheese bread, and I walked I don't know how many miles just to get that cheese bread.
Do you have this in Portugal as well?
We have it because the Brazilians do it, but it's not. It's theirs. It's theirs. No, that's theirs. So if you see it, it's one thing that is funny is the nata, the Portuguese nata. It's everywhere now.
Yes, yeah, pastel de nata.
Yeah, it's the same in England. No, it's
Yeah.
everywhere. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I'm visiting a country, I like to eat the traditional food from that country. So we were in Porto, and I ate sardines, pastel de nata, and this strange sweet, which I can't remember what it was called. We had in what was the place? Aveiro. We were in Aveiro, and I had this strange sweet, but I can't remember what it was called.
Was it like very soft eggs?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
egg. Yeah,
it's soft eggs or soft eggs, ovos. Yeah.
yeah.
Did you
That's
like
it.
that?
Ovos, yes.
Yeah.
And they have a sandwich in Porto, the Francesinha sandwich.
Francesinha. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I had this as well. Yeah.
That's a good food for hangover. It's the equivalent of the English breakfast. It's there
Yes.
for when you had a good time the night before, then you can recover. Yeah. What about English food? Is there anything that you would
I
recommend?
I love English food. Fish and chips, which my wife she doesn't mind fish and chips, but it's not her favourite. Obviously English breakfast with black pudding. She hates
Mhm.
she hates English breakfast in general. And roast dinner, of course.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have some good food.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
a lot of tourists don't really like our food, I think.
Yeah, but I think that they don't know it. I mean, I understand that it's the same in Ireland. Maybe the variety is not as the same as in Portugal or Brazil or Italy, but the food that you guys have, for me, it's completely fine. Like I I'm satisfied.
I'm thinking now because you live in Ireland, if you have the
Yeah,
same cuisine or you have slightly different
it's very
in
similar.
Ireland.
Very similar. Maybe more rural because Ireland is more rural than England, or for the most part. But it's I'd say it's very similar. Yeah, I mean there are
Did you
lots of similarities. Yeah.
did you eat Irish stew?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But for me,
It's
it's a
very good.
winter food.
Yeah, winter
Yeah.
food. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's here it's winter. It's winter for a good few months, so it's okay. I want to ask you. So how do you plan your adventures? Is it something that you think about for a while, or just go, or it's more on a spontaneous basis?
Well, we think about the place that we choose. It can be quite spontaneous to how we choose the place, but once we've chosen the place, then I like to do a ton of research. I watch YouTube videos. I search Google, search TripAdvisor to find out the best restaurants to go to, the places to visit, the prices. I search every aspect, like even how to travel from the airport to our hotel. What's the best way, by train or by taxi? I do every kind of research
Mm.
because then when you get there, then you don't have to do any thinking. You just when you get out of the hotel, when you land, you already know the way that you're going to go to the hotel. No stress about thinking about it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I would be very, very similar. Like I like adventure, but not in that regard. There are certain things that they need to be somehow predefined. Of course, there is room for surprise, but I like that the basics they need to be somehow arranged. That we don't need
Yeah,
to get busy with boring stuff. Let the fun happen in other environments, not when getting out of the airport, or uh, how do we go from A to B. Or, for instance, one thing that I found very helpful is the opening hours of the places I want to visit. Let's say I want to see a museum. I don't want to travel half of the city, arrive there, and they say, "Yeah, you can get in, but you have 10 minutes." Yeah, and
yeah,
then I wasted half a day.
yeah.
Then I don't get that half day back. So I think it's always good to. And one advice that I would give to people, actually, when it comes to opening hours, because this is somehow evident, no, is check the public holidays of the country you are visiting, because sometimes they let's say go to Romania, no, talking of Romania, where they are Christian Orthodox. So they have a different calendar than us. It's a different story. Or in Brazil, I mean, they are Catholics, but still they celebrate different festivities. So it's a different culture, even for us Portuguese. So you can be shocked that you arrive there on some Monday, and instead of people going to work, the whole city is shut down.
Yeah, exactly. So once we was in Rome, I like to know if the place we're going to visit is hugely full of people going to be visiting as well. And like, for example, the Vatican. You know, a lot of crowds are going to be there when you visit the Vatican. So we were there very early in the morning. We were there like half an hour before it even opened, and we were like first in the queue to get in, because then you're not losing any time in the queue, because the queues can be massive when you go to Vatican or Eiffel Tower or wherever popular destination.
Yeah.
So yeah, to be planned that way as well, like to get there in good time.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and as a matter of fact, when I lived in Barcelona for 3 months, I was based just outside the Sagrada Familia. Actually, from one of the rooms, we could see part of the Sagrada Familia, not my room, but one of my flatmates' room. It was facing the Sagrada Familia, and I remember, like, I used to go to the gym, and I still go to the gym in the morning around 6 o'clock. And at 6 o'clock, there are already people queuing to go to Sagrada Familia because they knew it. They knew it. They knew
I
it.
also had a friend who visited Barcelona recently, and he told me the price of visiting the Sagrada Familia is ridiculous. It's like £70 or something to go.
£70.
It's really, really high. Yeah, the price. Like, there's different prices because you have guided tour price, you have just the church price, you have the church and the upstairs of the church. So you have different tiers of price. But if you wanted the highest price, it's like £70, I think.
Yeah, that's quite a lot. I mean, I haven't been in because the kind of way when you are just near to a place and you say, I'm going to go there next weekend, in a week time, next month, when the weather will improve, when my parents are visiting, and then you end up never visiting that way. So that was my story with Sagrada Familia. But that's about £70.
If I was in a place and the price was that high, it would be off the list. I'm not paying that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And same price as going to a Barcelona game, which
Yeah.
I haven't done when I lived there. Well, at first I'm not a Barcelona fan. I'm a Real Madrid, but I would go there just to mess up with with a Barca supporter. So with a big Luis Figo jersey, white with my accent, half Figo, half Ronaldo. Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of this Barcelona thing. So I like the city very much, but I think I don't know. I think they 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 exaggerate when it comes to uh, turning the whole region into a brand. I don't like that. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why, if I would suggest someone to go to Spain, I would tell them to go to Madrid and the surrounding areas. Have you visited that part of Spain?
In Madrid?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't in Madrid. I've been in Barcelona, but not Madrid.
Yeah.
Actually, my dad was recently in Barcelona. Oh, not recent, maybe a couple of years ago. And he said to me, "Oh, I didn't really like Barcelona." He said too much history. But he likes bars. He likes being on the beach. So he said it's perfect for you because you like history. It's perfect. But for me, too much history. I don't get it, honestly.
Were you always into history?
No, I wasn't, to be honest. When I was at school, I hated history. But maybe maturity brings different things. Being older, being more mature, I'm maybe smarter now than I was at school, like thinking about different things, not just football all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So where does football fits, let's say, in your scope of interest these days?
It's still high on my list of interests. I do visit. I do watch my team quite regularly. I go to Coventry when we're playing at home, and when we're playing away, it can be recently quite difficult to get a ticket.
Mm.
I don't have much points at the moment, but I do try to get away as well.
Yeah, let me have a funny one when it comes to Coventry. So I support the team in each of the countries that I'm interested in. So I try to have a team, let's say, in the I don't know 5, 7, 10 countries that I'm connected with, and of course I have my own team in Ireland, which is Cork City, and sometimes when I look for Cork City information, instead of typing Cork City FC, I type CCFC and I end up in Coventry's page. Maybe the other way around happened to you, I don't know, but often I was like, but this is not Cork City, this is Coventry again. I was like, what are those guys doing here? So yeah, I'd say at least like every month I'm in Coventry page. Yeah.
You'll get up the website viewers on their
Yeah.
page.
I think I already deserve at least I don't know a hot dog if I go to one of the games. Yeah.
It's cool.
Do you have a season ticket yourself?
No, I don't.
Mm.
I can't really make it for Tuesday night games or Wednesday night games because I've waken up early for work. If we're playing Tuesday night, then it's like an hour to go by train. Then I'm getting home midnight, something like that, and it's not really possible.
Yeah, because you play twice a week.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very competitive. The English league is like it's mad. It's one of the things I like about the English football. They're always like, I don't know, 8, 10 teams that can do well. So you never know where to put your money on because it's unpredictable. Unpredictable. I want to ask you as well. So you travel to good few places that are more on the pipeline. Have you ever considered move out of England and settle yourself in another place in Europe or perhaps Brazil?
Well, actually, my wife is she's invested in some land in Brazil for when we retire. So we'll be paying that off until we retire. They're building some apartments on this land in the future. Well, we have many years until we retire, but I think the council in Brazil are building apartments there on this land. So when we retire, we'll have an apartment in Brazil. But I could easily live in Italy as well. Italy's amazing.
Why not? What is stopping you? Like, wouldn't you pack and try to learn some Italian? Or?
Yeah, it's difficult in a way because it's kind of like this is what I'm used to all my life, and my family's here, and I don't know. It's something like I've never done really. I've never moved far away from home, so I don't know.
Yeah, and it's not that easy. I'm not trying to change your mind, but I'm sure it crossed your mind when you travel. Like as you said, your wife even verbalized it, saying, "Yeah, I could live here.
Yeah.
No, I could move here." So I think we all have that thought that maybe when we go back home, we research whether is that something realistic or it's just a dream.
When she said around Italy that she could move there, then this one I agree with. I could move to Italy, but when she said in Scotland, then not really. I like Scotland, but not to live there because the weather's not too great. It's not so hot most of the year, and you're just moving. If I was going to move, it would be for better weather because it's nearly June now, and every morning when I wake up to go to work, it's cold in the morning here.
Yeah.
But then in the afternoon when I'm leaving work, it's hot. So then you think, what am I going to wear that I'm warm in the morning, but not so hot when I'm leaving work? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
difficult.
It's the same. It's the same here. They say that in Ireland we have the 4 seasons in a day, especially that time of the year. So I'd say it's not that different in England. It has been a while since I was in England. As a matter of fact, I can't remember the last time. Was it London or Manchester? Yeah, but was for sure before COVID. And everything that happened before COVID, it seems ages ago.
So around Christmas time, we had Nelly's friend who lives in Portugal, who are from Brazil. They were here to visit us in London. Well, close to London. We live in Milton Keynes. We took them to London for a day, and this is why I don't understand such huge tourism around England, because I think in London you could visit everything you need to see in a single day in London. And after one day, then what do you do?
What is it?
So Buckingham Palace, London Eye, Big Ben, all these things you could see in a day easily. And then, unless you're into museums or art galleries, then I think you could really complete London in a day, in my opinion.
Well, or if you are a football fan, you can
Yeah.
head to Arsenal Stadium, and especially at the end of the season, and see how
Yeah.
happy they are with another successful year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Spurs fan myself. That's why I'm talking this loud. So I'm
Oh, you won that
yes,
Europa League this week.
yeah, yeah. For once, no,
Yeah.
it was about time. Huh? It was about time. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think now we won't be mocked for another 3-5 years. And now I think now the team to be on the spot is Man United. It's not even Arsenal. It's Man United. I mean, it's a complete disaster. Yeah, yeah,
I'm happy to see them struggling. Really
yeah,
happy.
yeah. Me too. I actually, talking of travel, I actually the only 2 times I've been to Manchester, I've been to 2 football games. So first time I was in Etihad Stadium. It was actually my birthday, and I decided to present myself with a ticket to a Premier League game because I haven't been to a Premier League game in my life until then. So I bought the ticket uh, to a game that was City Spurs, and we beat them 2-1. Never forget. That was ages ago, man. It was I think the coach was Mancini, if I remember well. I don't remember who was Spurs manager, but we beat them 2-1. It was massive. It was massive. And then I went to a job interview. I didn't get a job, fortunately, in Manchester. And it was the same day or the day before that they did a game for Wayne Rooney farewell. That was the most boring game ever because it was just a friendly game. Every 5 minutes there were substitutions. No one
Oh,
gave a shit about scoring. Players didn't want to get injured.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean the only excitement, if you can call it excitement, was every time there was a corner for United, Rooney was taking the corner, and the whole stadium was cheering his name. So that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not the most exciting game, I would say. Yeah. I want to ask you. I have one here. So when you are away, have you ever felt like homesick, or not really?
No, not really. I don't think you get homesick like after a week. I think it takes much longer to feel homesick. If you're away 3 months or 6 months, maybe, but I think after 1 or 2 weeks, then this doesn't happen.
Yeah, yeah. It's very brief. It's very brief, and unless you have strong sentiments towards your own place, or there's something there that you want to pay attention to, or some, let's say, very specific circumstance. Well, a week is not it's not enough for for that. So how would you go about detaching yourself from that British tourist stereotype and make sure that you're not seen as another one?
I like to, when I'm visiting somewhere, and I like to experience the place where I am, because many people, when they visit a different country, they like to stick to food they know, or stick to what they know, like bars or beaches. I like to visit museums, like churches, historical sites, eat the food specific to the country where I am. So that's why I think that I try to distance myself from this stereotype.
What about when someone asks, "Oh, where are you from?" and you say, "I'm British," and then there is some bad reputation. How do you go about making a point that you are not just one more British tourist, like, or you just don't care? They will realize it sooner or later.
Like if someone asks me where I'm visiting, like where am I from, I don't think it really affects me if someone asks me where I'm from. I like to, if someone asks me where I'm from, which they did in Edinburgh, actually, we was at a restaurant, and the waitress was asking us, "Where are you from?" Then I like to switch it around on them, like, where are you from? I like to talk about their country, where they're from, and what I like about their country, or if I've been there. This is how I like to do it.
How would you sell England to a visitor?
How would I describe England to a visitor?
Yeah. Let's say what would be your pitch, your sales pitch for England?
Well, I'd like to say that if you're going to visit London, then don't expect too much, because, as I said, I think you can see everything important in a day. I would like to tell them to visit different places in England, to be honest. Like Bath. Bath was really nice. It has a lot of Roman history in Bath. So I like this city.
Any other place in England that you would put in the schedule?
York as well, but obviously that's not so close to London. York is very historic as well. More Roman history there. And yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah, York is fantastic. I'm a big fan of York. I visit only once, but that's a place I would like to go back. And people are kind, friendly. They care about your experience. They are genuinely interested in your well-being and how is it going. When it comes to your visit and all that, I was really impressed by the passion that people put in the visitors. That's something that you bring back when you see that uh, the natives, they are not only opening the doors, they're opening their arms to you.
Yeah, they really like care about their city, and they want to show it off to tourists and make them have the best time when they're there.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, let's go back to the podcast. So, uh, in terms of, let's say, you are now doing that for 4 months. So, I mean, you are still new, but you haven't started, say, last week. So, I think after, like, in my opinion, after 3 months, you are ready. Let's say stage two. So, if there's someone about to launch a podcast, not necessarily about travel, but a podcast like similar to the format we are using it today, what would be your advice?
My advice would be, don't be scared, because when I was first starting a podcast, I was a bit apprehensive about being on screen, people watching and judging me if I'm doing something wrong or if I'm stuttering. When I first started as well, I was stuttering my words. I wasn't so confident in front of the camera. But now I don't stutter as much, and I'm getting better in editing as well. I would say when you build a team as well, to make sure you have every base covered. Like maybe some experience in podcasting, maybe someone who's good in editing, someone who's good in writing descriptions, or good in creativity to create podcast ideas, thumbnails. There's a lot of thinking to do, but if you get the right team, then everything it makes it a lot easier.
So you would encourage someone who is new to podcast not to start by himself, but try to get on a group.
Yes. And I would say not to buy, when you first start, not to buy so much expensive equipment, because after 2 weeks you might feel, "I said, this is not for me," then it's a waste of money in the end. Wait until you've done it a few months, and then see if you're enjoying it, and then if you want to continue doing it, then it's time to buy the equipment after that.
Yeah, 100%. One thing at a time. Talking of enjoyment, what's the thing that you have enjoyed the most since you started?
I like to learn people's different perspectives on travel. So we've had a few guests on so far, including yourself. We've had expats. We've had people who are tour guides. We've had people who are singers or artists. We've had a drone person. We've had different people from different parts of the world who experience travel in different ways.
And what's the thing that you haven't really enjoyed? That let's say what you'll be happy not to be busy with, but there's no way for you to get rid of.
Editing takes a long time.
The same.
It takes a long time. It
Same.
takes a lot of patience.
Yeah.
It just has to be done.
Yeah, 100%. Like if I could, man, if I would have the resources, like I would gladly, without any hesitation, outsource the editing for someone.
Yeah.
But for me, there are two reasons not to. One is the financial commitment, and the second is like you need to be very mindful, because the person who is going to edit your stuff needs to know what you want to achieve with your content.
Yes.
And okay, maybe like I've been doing this for 1 year, 4 months. Maybe someone have been following me from scratch, and they and they talk to me, let's say, at least in this manner a couple of times. Maybe they will be. I mean, some of my friends, they will be prepared, of course. But let's say someone I haven't met, maybe to be okay. But I would be still insecure, because I think my brand, it's not that visible yet. So it needs to be framed, and it's not people's fault. I mean, 1 year, it's not a lot. So this thing of not being totally sure that someone is capable to do the job just because they don't know me that well is also putting me off. What are the plans for the podcast? Anything like in the pipeline you have, other than bringing guests? Any formats? Any new additions?
Well, I am considering an additional team member because, as you said, editing is not my strong point, for one. And I want someone who editing is a strong point, because I'm not good in technology. So using laptops, using phones, it's not for me. I'm learning I'm getting better at it, but as it takes a long time to do, and it's not my strong point at all. On the future of the podcast, I have an ambition to get someone on as a guest from every country in the world, which is a huge ambition, and it obviously take a long time to achieve. And to get every different perspective, like business travel, visiting, country hopping, like one day or 2 days in a country, people who have lived different countries, just every kind of different aspect I can think of.
There's a massive ambition. If you want to have someone for every single country in the world, that will take some time. That's a good one. I haven't seen a podcast who have achieved. So that will make yourselves unique. So what's the thing that you believe you have that will make you stand out, let's say, within the travel scene? Because I think one of the challenges of doing something when travel related is it's an industry it's a bit saturated, so it's difficult to come up with something new or original. How do you approach that?
I don't think, because we were trying to compare ourselves on YouTube to other channels, to see their progress and to see maybe learn things from their channel. And I didn't actually find any channels that are similar to ours, with 4 people sitting remotely talking about travel. We found travelers who actually are in the place, like showing the camera at the place, but I didn't see any teams like ours with 4 people sitting and speaking about travel. Plus, I think what makes us unique is the diversity of our team. And each of us have different aspects of travel. So Alexandra's lived in Greece, she's lived in Egypt, she's lived in Italy, and then we have Elsa, who travels with business. We have Dave, who travels in a different way as well. That he travels like he's a truck driver, and he was in the Navy. And I'm traveling in a different way as well, with my wife, and just visiting as much countries as I can. So
Have you considered? Sorry, go ahead.
We all have different ways we travel.
Yeah. Have you considered doing vlog, like when you travel, trying to record it and show the place? Let's say, I wouldn't say live, but at least sum it up in a video of 10 minutes. As you were in Edinburgh, and then put it all together in a video.
With me speaking on the video, you mean?
Yes.
This is one thing that I was thinking about, but one thing is I find difficult as well is speaking on the camera when it's just myself. Because you remember when there was a fire at Heathrow Airport not long ago? So our team came up with an idea that I should do a video, just maybe 1 or 2 minutes, speaking about this. And I found it very difficult to just set up the camera and speak to the camera. I found it very awkward that I was just speaking to no one, basically. I find it easier when I have someone on the screen who I'm speaking to, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, 100%. I think most people would relate to that. But my experience, what it tells me was I was, let's say, similar to yourself at the beginning. But it's one of those things that, let's say, you do it 3-5 times and then it just becomes normal.
Yeah.
So we all been there, like, oh, this sounds awkward. But then you do it and you repeat it and you do it all over again, and all of a sudden it's just like, a glass of water. So
I tried speaking about Heathrow, and I did like a few clips, and I was like, this is awful. It just sounds like a robotic. I'm just speaking to no one,
Yeah. Yeah, that's tricky.
Very difficult.
It's tricky, yeah. So, how do you manage to stay authentic or true to yourself, while at the same time make sure that the audience is satisfied or interested in what you are saying?
So when we have a guest on, for example, or actually when we don't have a guest, I like to find out the subject we're going to speak about, and then do as much research as I can, have information on the city, or information on the places they visited, or where they live, or a few stats, a few numbers. I make sure I have 3 or 4 pages ready every time. And then we never have things. We never have things running out, subjects running out.
Yeah, that changes a lot. In terms of feedback, let's say people write comments, people send emails, people drop private message. Was there any feedback that stuck with you and kind of changed the way you approach the podcast?
We haven't really had too much comments on YouTube yet, as we're quite new, but we've had I've had a few comments at work, like keep going, or this is interesting. So we spoke about camels on last week's show, that people use camels for their advantage, and maybe when, like hundreds of years ago, maybe yes, that you need camels to get around. But you see now in Egypt, people are just using camels for the sake of it. Like, oh, I'm at the pyramid, so it's easy to walk, but I'll just take a camel anyway. So we had a comment at work about this, like a bit of a jokey comment, which was nice. Yeah, we've had a few nice comments, but not so much so far.
Yeah, it takes time to build an audience. But talking of your workplace, I remember when I was in your show that one of the guys who was watching was someone from my hometown. I couldn't believe such a small world, no?
Yeah, and as you said, it's a very small city or small town where you're from,
Yeah,
right? Pereira.
yeah,
So
yeah,
a few thousand people.
yeah. I don't know exactly, but maybe like 30, 40,000. Like in the context of Portugal, it's not that small, but still, yeah, you wouldn't expect that someone will be living in England and will be watching the podcast that you are participating in. That will be,
Yeah,
and in his same generation as me. So hopefully he can watch that one too.
yeah. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I like to try to sell my podcast at work as well. Like, oh, did you know I started a podcast? I bring it up quite a lot at work to try to get more viewers, and you know, unfortunately, my workplace is quite small as well. So
Hmm. So you are now hesitant when it comes to mix, let's say, the podcast and the workplace, because some people will think twice, especially like when they approach some topics, or not every manager is happy that you are doing something in parallel. For you, it wasn't it wasn't a problem.
I don't think I know. I don't feel like it's a problem. No, I mean, we all do things outside work. Maybe not as public as I'm doing it with a podcast, but who knows?
Yeah, who knows what people do? Sometimes it's better not to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can open some dodgy page and then see your coworker. You're a boss. You don't
Dark
want to
web,
see
yeah.
that. Yeah. Um, Let me just ask you just to finish in terms of travel. So where are you heading to, let's say, in the next 6 months or until the end of the year?
So we've booked. So we're going to Switzerland in 3 weeks, and then we're going to Belfast. I was eyeing up Belfast or Dublin, which I didn't really. I couldn't really decide. I chose Belfast because when I'm going to Dublin, I want to also visit Londonderry because there's a lot of history there. So
Yeah.
that's like I need a bit of a longer trip for visiting Ireland.
But
And after,
isn't it, so sorry to cut you off, isn't it easier to get to Londonderry from Belfast?
I'm not sure, but also I haven't really looked yet. But also, we're only in Belfast for like 2 nights, so we only got like a weekend there.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to just stick to Belfast this time to just experience that city, and maybe Dublin it'll be a week, so then I have more time to go to Londonderry then.
Yeah.
Um,
Just
after
don't say, sorry again to cut you off, just don't say Londonderry when you are in Dublin, no?
is
You know
Derry, yes.
that. Huh?
I know they have two different
Yeah.
ways of approaching that.
Yes. Yeah.
So after Belfast, we're going to Budapest, my first time in Hungary,
Ah,
and then we've just booked today actually a weekend in Naples again, back to Naples.
so that goes into another question I have here. That's what's the place that you are not hesitant when it comes to returning because you'll never get bored of. Here's the answer: Naples.
Naples and Italy in general. I still have many places I want to see in Italy. I want to see Verona, Venice, and maybe Sicily. Oh, Italy's never ending.
Yeah,
There's so much to see.
and it's huge. Yeah, when are you going to Budapest?
In August.
In August. Yeah, because I'll be there in September. I was just thinking to be the same time. I lived there for 4 years, so I will write you a couple of suggestions in terms of history, places to stay, where to eat, so
We
that you
have
can avoid some of the traps.
we have a few on our list, like ruined pubs we're going to visit, and the Széchenyi baths we want to see as well.
Yeah.
There's still much more research to do before we go, but
yeah. If you go to the Széchenyi baths, my recommendation is to go early in the morning before all the tourists are there. But when I say early in the morning, I know it's fine, but it's like when they are opening, which I believe is around 7 o'clock. So if you are there like 7 o'clock on a weekday, it's fantastic. It's only by yourself, your wife, and a few Hungarian old people. That's it. It's great, and they're playing chess. I love that in the water. So
and the castle looks incredible in Budapest
yes,
as well.
and that's another one to visit in the morning. When I left Hungary, March 2021 or 2022, I can't remember now. One of the things I wanted to do is visit the castle right when they open, which is about 6 a.m. That was fantastic. So you can see the sunrise on the Danube through the windows of the castle. There's no one there, only the workers who are opening the premises. So man, that's some experience.
It's definitely going to happen, yeah. And there's a place which I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Like it's at the castle, but I can't remember what it's called. There's like a specific window or something, which I forgot the name.
Yeah, there's a basilica as well. There's the Dohany synagogue, which is one of the oldest. I think is the biggest synagogue outside of Israel, and outside of Israel and New York. So the biggest synagogue in Europe. Better said. Yeah, there's a lot. How many days are you spending in Budapest?
I think it's 6 or 7.
Oh, that's good. You can even go outside of Budapest. You can visit like Esztergom, for instance, which it's amazing when it comes to history. They have, and you can cross the bridge and be in Slovakia. So that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, is it Bratislava? It's close, I think.
Yeah, but Bratislava it's still a bit further. It's just a tiny Slovakian town just across the river. So you go to Visegrad as well, which there's an amazing view of the Danube. There's what they call the curve of the Danube. Anyway, I put that on the list because there's plenty to be seen. So yeah, and August is still a good time to go there. Is it beginning of August, end of August?
I think it's the 23rd of August.
Good, because it's not that hot like at the beginning, because it can be, I don't know, 35 degrees or something like that. And then it's landlocked, so you don't get the breeze as you get in England or in Ireland. So for us, coming from that part of Europe, it can be challenging, I'd say.
Nice.
Yeah, right. So I think I will come to a closure here. We'll be in touch for those travels and other topics that come along the way. I want to express my gratitude for you to share your insights when it comes to traveling and talking about travel on YouTube. Pity that Alexandra couldn't join, but hope everything is okay with her.
Yeah, I'll send her a message when we've finished the recording. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on as well.
Yeah, no problem. So for someone who's interested in Luke's podcast, the link will be, if it's not already there, in the description. And together with that, I need to remind the viewers that this episode was sponsored by Travel Device. So if you guys are interested in getting a personalized tour in any part of the world, just contact them and provide them the code that is in the description. Can't remember now the code on top of my head, but you can get a special rate, and someone assigned will be a specialist in that part of the world you are visiting. Most of the lads are in Israel, Italy, or Ireland, but they have been all over the place. So don't hesitate to tell them Brazil, Australia, South Africa, because an expert will be able to put the right itinerary for yourself. So in terms of what I have the pipeline for the next episode, so Tuesday we have marketing specialists, so or a marketing entrepreneur. We have someone who is an expert when it comes to personal brands. So if you are trying to put yourself out there on the internet and you need advice, she is the person you should listen to. So Tuesday, 7 o'clock UK time, and then Wednesday we're gonna have a debate on anti-Semitism. So we're gonna be myself and Marco as usual, and 4 other guests. And Thursday we will talk again the League of Ireland. So if you are into football, this is the channel to turn to on Thursday, 7 o'clock. So I hope to see you all guys in the next few days, and look, we'll be in touch, and all the best for your travels and endeavors. Take care, man.
Thank you, Victor. Vitor, sorry.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye. Bye.